There are turning points that arrive without footsteps, moments that do not come from outside, but rise quietly from within. Today, such a moment found me. I was sitting beneath the open sky, where the last light of evening melted into the dunes like a whispered farewell. The world around me was neither bright nor dark. It was something in between, a gentle twilight that felt like truth. And in that twilight, something inside me settled. Something finally aligned. Oh, you, who once carried the gravity of my every breath, your memory drifted across my mind, not like a storm, not like a question, but like a feather falling softly on still water. I realized then, you no longer hold the power to move my heart off its path, not out of bitterness, not out of coldness, but out of clarity, a clarity I had searched for longer than I care to admit. The heart, after all, was never meant to stay in darkness. It was meant to rise, to learn, to outgrow the shadows it once mistook for shelter. Tonight, I reached that point. The sky above me was painted in quiet shades of dusk, as if the heavens themselves were learning how to soften. A gentle wind moved across the dunes, carrying with it a stillness I had not felt in a long, long time. And in that stillness, I realized something profound. I am no longer waiting for someone to return, to make me whole. Wholeness, I discovered, was never something another person could give me. It was something I had to rise into myself. Oh, you, who once made the air around me tremble, your memory passed through my mind tonight, not as a longing, not as a question, but as a quiet presence I had already made peace with. There was no ache, no sharpness, no pull, only understanding. Understanding that love, even when it doesn't last, still shapes us in ways we only recognize much later, when the dust settles, when the noise fades, when the heart begins to hear its own voice again. I sat on the warm sand and let my breath fall into rhythm with the world around me. Each inhale felt like a reminder that life continues, even after the parts of it we thought we couldn't live without. Each exhale felt like release, a release of expectations, of old stories, of the belief that healing means forgetting. Healing, I finally understood, means remembering without breaking. Oh, you, who once carried a part of my light, I no longer blame you. I no longer chase you. I no longer shrink in the shadow of what we were. I honor it. I release it. I walk beyond it, for the heart at last has learned a new truth, a truth I had feared for years. I am allowed to love myself in the way I once loved you. The wind grew calmer, almost affectionate, as if even nature knew I had crossed an unseen threshold, a threshold not of endings, but beginnings. I stood up slowly, feeling something settle deep inside my bones, a peace that did not need validation, a strength that did not need a witness. The future did not stretch ahead. Like an oak, there are moments in life when the heart pauses, not because it is tired, but because it has finally learned how far it has come. Today, I felt that moment like a quiet sunrise, breaking slowly across my soul. I stood at the edge of a cliff where the world stretched open, in every direction, wide, unending, full of silent invitations, the kind of place where the wind does not just touch your skin, it speaks to you. Oh, you, who once pulled the strings of my sleepless nights. I realized something today. Your chapter no longer defines the rhythm of my story. Not because I erased you, not because I forgot you, but because I no longer follow the echoes of yesterday. My heart is no longer waiting for answers that never came, or explanations that would not have changed a thing. Instead, My heart listens to itself, to its own pulse, its own wisdom, its own quiet becoming. I walked forward, feeling the earth steady beneath my feet. Every step carried a softness I had not felt in years, a softness born not from weakness, but from release. For the first time, I understood a truth I had resisted for so long. Healing is not a destination. It is a practice, a rhythm, a daily choosing. I choose peace. I choose clarity. I choose the version of myself who no longer breaks for what has already passed. Or you, whose name once echoed through every corner of my silence. Today your memory appeared, not as a wound, but as a quiet reflection in a still pool of water. The reflection remained for a moment, then dissolved, as the wind touched the surface, showing me how temporary even the deepest shadows can be. I felt a weight lift, a weight I didn't even realize I still carried. It slipped away quietly, like something that finally understood. It no longer belonged. The world around me seemed to open wider, as if the sky itself had been waiting for me to let go. And in that wide openness, I heard something, not from the wind, not from the earth, but from the deepest part of me. You are free now, free from what was, free from what could have been, free from stories that ended long before I stopped telling them. Freedom, a word so simple, yet today it felt like a new beginning, a beginning shaped by courage, by clarity, by the quiet wisdom of a heart that learned how to heal itself. I took a breath, steady, unbroken, and felt the future gather around me like a gentle promise. I am no longer afraid of the unknown. I no longer walk with hesitation. I am stepping forward with purpose, with softness, with strength, because finally, after all the storms, all the nights, all the letting go, I am becoming the person my heart always hoped I would be. Every step you take now belongs only to you. And that truth, simple, quiet, undeniable, felt like freedom. For years, I carried stories that were too heavy, prayers that went unanswered, promises that belonged to a version of me I no longer recognized. Today, I laid them all down, not in anger, but in acceptance.